You're listening to The Unstoppables, where each week we show you how to overcome obstacles and transform the sting of failure into the reward of growth. And now, here's your host, best-selling author, keynote speaker, and CEO, Bill Wooditch.
You're tuned into The Unstoppables. You know that place. It's the undeniable space in the universe where we explore the minds, examine the habits, and learn the fears, the failures, and the triumphs of the undaunted, the unstoppable achiever. And boy, do I have one today. Her name is Stacey Riska. She's an internationally renowned business marketing expert and a serial entrepreneur. I was on her show. She's fantastic. You're going to love this one. It's going to be a treat because Stacey eats, sleeps, and breathes small business. She understands exactly what it takes for the small business owner in any niche, any industry, to not only survive, but most important, survive. Stacey, welcome to the show.
Awesome to be with you. Can't talk today. Awesome to be with you, Bill, and your audience. Thanks for having me.
You know, we always dive into background, and I'm going to hit you with this one first. You've got a background story that starts with about $500,000 in debt. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of zeros.
500,000 in debt. Tell me about your background. Tell me about the debt, and tell me how you started to dig out.
All right. Well, tell your audience to grab their little tissues because my story, I would consider it a conglomeration of every kind of movie genre. It's got horror, drama, comedy, action, all intertwined. But I guess that's the life of a serial entrepreneur. So my journey starts back in about 1998. I started my first business, an outsourcing business, where I was doing the back office work for associations and nonprofits. It was a great business. Things were going great. But then a few years later, this thing called 9/11 happened in 2001, and associations were greatly impacted negatively because nobody was flying, nobody was traveling, and associations really relied on membership and meetings as their main revenue source. Now, I made a lot of mistakes during that time, but I also learned a lot through it and actually ended up coming out of that much better, ended up buying a mail house and a warehouse because when I listened to my audience, they were telling me, we just want one-stop shop, full service solution. So I continued to grow that business. And then in 2006, I had my midlife crisis because at that time I had a team who was really managing my business. I had 2 project managers. I wasn't in the day-to-day and I really missed the hands-on. And I woke up one day and said, I need something fun to do. So what else would you do, Bill? Well, I decided to start a Hawaiian-themed coffee and smoothie business, right? A rational decision. Well, that's what I did.
Macadamia nut smoothies?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and I was in the Washington, D.C. area, and I went gangbusters. In 2 years, I opened up 2 stores at Dulles Airport, a store in a mall. I had 10 of these mobile tiki bars going all around the Washington, D.C. area. And I had 3 food trucks. I was actually one of the first food trucks here in the D.C. area. And I got to tell you, the growth was great, but so was the crash and burn. Because I woke up one day in 2008. I'm sure many people have stories from 2008, but I woke up in 2008, $500,000 in debt. I was so broke and I did not know where my next customer was coming from. And those were really dark days. I had young kids at the time, so broke I couldn't put peanut butter and jelly on the table. I was sued 6 times in 1 year. I had the bank threatening to take my house. Those were seriously dark, dreary days. And I remember the day so clearly in my mind where the changing point for me. After working many 120-hour weeks, I was driving home from one day at the store and I just started crying. But not just crying, I mean like heaving, like I couldn't catch my breath. So much so I had to pull over on the side of the road and it took me like 10 minutes to come through. And I kid you not, Bill, this is absolutely true. When I finally came out of it, what was playing on the radio was Kelly Clarkson's song, "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger." And I was like, wow, that is my theme song. And it still is today. And when I went home, I opened up my door, and in my foyer, there's this big mirror there. And I looked in the mirror with my tear-sodden eyes, and I said, Stacey, you are at that proverbial come to Jesus moment. You are at that fork in the road. You're either gonna throw in the towel, lose your house, lose your family, lose your business, just lose it all, or you're gonna fight to save your business. So what are you gonna do? And I gotta tell you, it wasn't an emotional decision, it was a rational decision. I put on my glasses and I looked at my business with clear lenses. And what I realized was that there was one little piece of my business that was making money. It was very profitable, and it was called catering. And from that moment on, I realized I need to build a marketing plan to focus on that. And I went straight into my office and said, what can I do that's simple, that will get me business now? And I laid out 6 simple things that I could do. And it worked. In 2 years, I transformed that business from $500,000 in debt to a 7-figure profitable business. And people started hearing about it. And so then they started reaching out to me and they're like, Stacey, can you teach me what you did? Or forget it. Can you just do it for me? And I was like, yeah, I would love to do it for you. And so that was my inspiration to start the Small Biz Marketing Specialist, where I help small business owners get their marketing into action, pun intended, because that then led to me writing my book, Small Business Marketing Made Easy, where I lay out the 6 simple steps to get your marketing into action. So fast forward today, here I am on a mission to help the small business owner really ditch the CEO title, Chief Everything Officer, so that they can build the successful and profitable business they always knew they'd have. You didn't grab a tissue.
My mouth's been open for most of it, and that's because I was in awe. You are the manifestation of what the show, Unstoppable, where we talk with people who have overcome adversity. You've had adversity as a guide, a crucible. You had 2 major, now you're into your 3rd. You had 9/11, you had 2008, and now you have COVID, which I want to ask you about how COVID has affected your business today going forward.
Great question. So COVID has detrimentally impacted my coffee smoothie business, which I still run today. It is literally closed down. But here's the thing, Bill, because what you probably teach your audience of how to be unstoppable is I have learned from those 2 experiences now what to do and how to deal with it. So I'm actually really grateful for all the horrible things, perhaps, that others would say, oh my God, look at what happened to you. But I learned so much, it taught me so much, and I am absolutely confident that I'm going to come through this a winner.
I think if the past is prologue, you will. I believe in you. I think that like seeks like. And I was on your show, loved being on your show, had a lot of fun on your show. It was great. And I just found that your ability to think, to do what you just said, to get out of that emotional swamp, get out of the emotional stew that can just drive you backwards, all the florid fears of what's happening and what can happen will stymie you. It'll stifle you. You got to the rational part of your brain and you did something very important. This is huge for every business. You focused on the niche. You went deep on a deep dive on niche. What's the one thing? And you put all of your energy on that one thing, small, and then made it big. So many of us are grasping for a lot of things, the shiny objects of new things, and trying to be more than we're capable of, no matter what the circumstance. That is, I think, one of the many similarities we have. Speaking of shiny states, and R might be resilience in your name. A lot of people just starting to market their product or service, and I've fell victim to this for years. They might chase after the new and the shiny methods of doing things, promotions, Facebook, Google ads. But are we just really flushing money down the drain by doing this?
Well, I would take a bet if you were to survey your audience and say, who would say, yes, I flushed money down the toilet when it comes to advertising, Facebook, etc., Google. I hear this all the time. The clients who come to me, they're saying, I ran a Facebook ad, I'm doing Google, I'm doing this. I call it spaghetti marketing because you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if something will stick. And then nothing does. Right, there you go.
That's all my questions.
He's got it circled, and he must be guilty of that. He got a copy of my book.
The universe. Hey, go ahead. I was going to ask you that question. You're already going there. Spaghetti.
So here's the thing. When a new client comes to me wanting help with their marketing, I tell them that I won't even put $1 towards advertising because you have to have the foundations in place first. You have to get your back office in place because what's the point of driving traffic to a crappy business if you don't have good customer service, if you don't have a good online presence, if you don't have the authority and the reviews and the reputation and you're not known as the expert, what is the point of driving more traffic to a crappy experience? So I am actually completely opposite to pretty much what every other marketing person out there is preaching.
Huge point on customer service. And I'm going to say this as an owner of a bricks and mortar company, that the way we were structured was antithetical to the industry in that we really focused on customer service. We had less people out there selling, but a whole lot of people on the high end of service. And what that did is create raving testimonials from very, very happy, delighted customers. And that's how we grew. In your book, you talk about this. You said, did you know it cost 5 times more to attract a new customer than to keep an existing one? And you ask the question, what do we focus so much on new? Now we have to have new to grow, but we're throwing a lot of money away on new and not taking care of our revenue stream, our clients, the ones that really have helped us build the foundation. What do you have to say about that?
I say, Bill, you're 100% right because
I'm quoting you, that's why I'm right.
Every business always thinks they need more, new. And they forget that they're sitting on a pot of gold, the customers, clients, and patients that they already have. Here's the thing, this really drives me nuts. So many businesses will give away so much stuff for free to bring in a new customer, and then they totally forget them. So the customers, clients, and patients that you already have, if you would take the money that you are now flushing down the toilet on Facebook and all those things and spend it on retention and keeping those customers, clients, and patients happy, they're going to come back and leave you rave reviews. They're going to refer others. They're going to come back again with open wallets. I use this as the N, I call it nurturing in my action marketing system. And although it's the last letter in action, it's actually it's the first step that we start with. When a new client comes to me and they're like, well, can you get me more leads? Can you get me more prospects? Can you get me more people to talk to? I say, yes, but we're going to start with the ones you already have because you're sitting on a pot of gold and most businesses don't even realize it.
The listener loves your approach. They're intrigued. Where would they find you?
Where do they find me?
Don't say hopefully. We don't need to come find you physically, but wait, COVID's over, maybe. Take that hat off.
We'll bring the food truck out to them. Well, you can find me online. My home base is smallbizmarketingspecialist.com. And on there, if you go to smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/book, you can get a free copy of my book. It's my gift to you. Just pay a very nominal shipping and handling fee. You can find me on all of the different social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm actually on Alignable. And I would love to invite you to join my free Facebook group, which is Small Biz Marketing Success. So just go to Facebook, type in the search bar, Small Biz Marketing Success. And this is a great group for small business owners and entrepreneurs looking for tips, ideas, inspiration, support, and when necessary, a tough kick in the butt to get their marketing into action.
You have credibility when it comes to tough. And biz is B-I-Z.
B-I-Z, that's right.
B-I-Z. Yeah, Stacey, let me flip to the acronym ACTION. Why don't you just walk me through ACTION?
Action. See, action is pun intended. 6 letters, 6 simple steps that any business owner can take and put into action. Okay, we'll go quickly through what each letter stands for. A is for attention. Okay, and as we talked about before, it's not about getting more new, but it's doing it in a smart way. Because here's the thing, you can't be everything to everyone, so be something for someone. Because here's what most business owners do. They'll put their name on a sign, strip naked, run up and down the street naked. Here I am, I'm a business, come visit me, come do business with me. And sure, you'll get attention, but not the right kind of attention. So Bill, you kind of alluded to this before, right? By winnowing it down, get super specific on your niche. Who are you for? I did this in my catering business, and I realized that my greatest profit came from companies with 50 to 100 employees in the Washington, D.C. area, technology companies who were looking for some kind of fun and different staff appreciation. So I didn't go after the little birthday party. I didn't go after weddings or bar bat mitzvahs. I got super specific on who I wanted to serve. And by doing that, I could be the something for someone, because I was when you know them, then you're super clear on their pains and their challenges, and you can position what you do for them. Okay, so the A is about attention. The C is about connect. Okay, because once you've got their attention, too many business owners want to say, hey, baby, want to get married, right? They just want to make the sale. But no, somebody meeting you for the first time doesn't want to get married. They don't want to buy your stuff. So you need to connect with them. And the way that you do that is to ask them to go on a first date, grab a cup of coffee. Maybe you drip, basically you're going to drip free information that is helpful to them.
Now that's huge. No, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to say that's the word each way. It is huge. It is the small incremental steps toward, yes, we say, don't go out and try to get married on that first date. You get slapped in the face, you will never recover. Small steps, make sure you can, small steps, have coffee first, small steps before the roses, the dinner, small steps. So I didn't want to interrupt, but I'm excited.
No, you're right. You're right.
Someone
so
else
the
on the
is
same
about
way.
getting somebody to raise their hand and say, yes, I'd like to know more. Yes, I'll go on a first date with you. So then we move into the T in the action marketing system, which is for transactions. And most small business owners say, oh, great, ding, ding, ding. Here's where I get to make a sale. Here's where I get to make some money, right? So what I want your audience to know is that the T, although it stands for transactions, it may or may not be monetary. Because here's the thing. People buy when they're ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell to them. Okay? People buy when they're ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell to them. So what you want to do is drip on them. Drip helpful information that positions you as the authority, so that when they are ready to buy, the only logical choice is you. I can give you examples of clients who come to me, and I can tell you that they've been in my pipeline for 2 years. But when they come to me, they'll say, oh, I've read your newsletters, I've seen your videos, and finally, now that I'm ready to make a decision, I had to do business with you. Like, it's like you've known me all along. So the T is about building those transactions. I call them touch points, because you're sort of bringing people along the journey with you, and they will eventually buy. The next step is I. I stands for invest, okay? And it's about making smart decisions with your marketing dollars. Here's what it's not. It's not about, well, how many Facebook likes do I have? How many Twitter followers? How many people open my email? Those are what I call vanity metrics. They make you feel really good, right? Because somebody liked your post or opened your email, right? But the only metric that matters are those that you can put into the bank. I have a saying, gross is for vanity, net is for sanity. So focus on the metrics that matter.
Give me that one again.
Gross is for vanity, net is for sanity.
I've got one that says that the banks don't cash our intents, they cash our results.
Ooh.
Hey, we're going to write the next book together. Keep going.
Okay, we're moving on to O. O is for ongoing, because marketing is not a one and done. You need to be doing something every single day to be marketing your business, which is multimedia, multi-touch. It should include social media, content, email, direct mail, local marketing, reputation management, maybe some automation. But it's about doing something every single day. And if you can't do it yourself, then hire a team who can support you in getting it done. Ditch that CEO title, Chief Everything Officer, and get out of your own way. Because when you get your marketing into action, pun intended, your business will finally grow. My motto in this area is do what you do best and outsource the rest.
It's a great one. That is one I could have saved. If I'd have met you sooner, I could have saved a lot of money, because we not only had toilet issues with flushing stuff down, we had to call plumbers a lot of times. That's how much we were wasting on that stuff. You mentioned pipeline and the importance of how you approach business, how we approach business and pipeline. Tell the audience, please, if you will, why you need to keep focused on growing that pipeline.
Well, here's the thing. Every business has a leaky bucket. Okay, so imagine that, and actually I have some, sorry we're not visual, but these are actually my next marketing piece being sent out. I'm going to drill holes in, so imagine a bucket with holes in them, okay? And your customers, clients, and patients are coming into the bucket, and they're literally, a percentage of them are going to fall out. You're going to have attrition. So you do need to make sure that you're always filling the pipeline, but that's where most business owners stop. They focus on filling the pipeline and never put in those touch points along the way, and communicate and connect with those people so that a much smaller percentage will leak through.
This is no bullshit show, so I'm going to just shoot direct with this, and I'm not prone to giving compliments where they're not earned, and it's only my opinion. But I'm going to take that bucket because it's an excellent metaphor. It's the best one I've ever heard to get across my point, why people need to keep expanding their pipeline, why they need to keep their activity high, why they need to keep doing those things, making those cold calls, knocking on those doors when you're able to keep building it, because people move, people die, people change for their own reasons. And if you don't keep filling that, you end up dry. I love that. I'm going to take the idea. I'll give you credit, but it's one of the best metaphors I've heard in regard to growing a pipeline. We got to ask you this, because I think it's very important coming from you. Tremendous credibility here, by the way, you've earned it. But when you look into the abyss, if nothing looks back, you're in deep trouble. And you had that point where that abyss came up. It was really dark. You looked in there and you saw that light. What is it that you would encourage the listener to do when they get to that point? They might be at that point today. What do they have to find inside of them to be able to shine that light and move forward? What is it?
That is a great question, because here's the thing. When the shit hits the fan, we all just want to go hide in the corner. I know I did. I was embarrassed. I was mortified. How could I possibly go ask for help? I was $500,000 in debt. You know, I couldn't go to my parents. I couldn't even, the bank was going to take my home. Who am I going to go to for help, right? And I think a lot of small business owners, when things don't go right, they just want to hide in a corner and not ask for help. That's why I started my own mastermind group, because when things go bad, you need to have a safe place where you can go, whether it's good or bad, I feel. Because even when things go well and you want to pat yourself on the back, a lot of times the business owner, where are they going to go? Their employees really don't care. They just want their paycheck. Your dog, yeah, your dog may care, but they just want the bone and to get patted on the back. They're not going to pat you on the back. So whether it's for something great because you just, did something you're so proud of, or quite honestly, you need some tough love. You need the kick in the pants. You need to hear something from somebody who's been there, done that. I found that a mastermind was what got me out of those deep, dark places. And here's the thing. It wasn't free. I had to pay to be in a mastermind group. But I got to tell you, Bill, if I could only have one tool in my marketing arsenal, it would be the mastermind group, because it is that powerful. It is what got me out of my fear. And I know that's a big topic of yours. It is what got me into action. It's the place where I can go. And this is actually a very true story. I call it my bitch slap moment, where in my mastermind group, they call it a hot seat. In my group, I call them profit seats because I like to focus on the positive side. But I was up there on my hot seat. And this was when I was thinking about starting the Small Biz Marketing Specialist. I was like, okay, so many people are asking me for marketing help. I think I'm going to start this marketing business. And I'm going to get rid of the coffee smoothie business. And everybody kind of knew the whole backstory of I built this, transformed it in 2 years from $500,000 in debt to a 7-figure profitable business. And they said, bitch slap, why would you get rid of a business that's doing well, doesn't take any of your time to manage, you have a team doing it, and you got super profits? And I needed that, right? Because I hadn't thought, like, wow, they're right, So sometimes you just need that fresh perspective. And sometimes, like I said, you need it to get that pat on the back. And sometimes you just need the kick in the rump for somebody to tell you to do something that you kind of already knew you needed to do. But somebody who's been there, done that can share their experiences.
And what that takes, Stacey, is vulnerability, being able to expose yourself, being able to come out and say, hey, I know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Help me through this, please. And the CEO sometimes is an exile by choice. You're the loneliest person in the room because you don't have those voices of dissonance. You don't have those voices that can say, here's a blind spot. Are you thinking about this? And by the way, you have that hot seat moment where maybe your idea isn't that great, but you don't want to share that because you don't want to, the emperor has to have clothes on, right?
Right.
So I agree with you on mastermind groups. I think it's one of the things that have helped me tremendously. And there is strength in numbers. No man is an island. None of us can survive or thrive on our own. Love that one. Success. Can you define it in Stacey's terms?
Well, I have in front of me right now a vision board, which keeps me motivated of what's important to me. And I have this thing literally called a little black book, right? Where I map out what's in my what's on my bucket list, basically. What do I want to be known for? What do I want to accomplish before I kick the bucket, so to speak? And you know what the big one on my list is? Most people would probably find it pretty surprising. But my dream is to get an RV and travel all around the country. And I want to tie this in with my passion of helping small business owners. And I want to go to different towns all around the country. And because I'll do my little soapbox here thing. So why is Small Business Saturday one day a year? Ironically enough, the day after Black Friday, and sponsored by American Express, the antithesis of small business. So I'm on a mission to get in my RV and go all around the country and stop in small towns, support small business, get some media exposure for them, maybe do some training, but it allows me to see the world because there's just something so powerful about getting out of your own four walls and getting some fresh air. Like I love going on long hikes. I love being in nature. My husband loves to fish. And whenever I get outside, it just cleanses the brain. And I always get these big aha moments. So anyways, that's one of the things on my bucket list.
She's resilient. She's a model of what you do with adversity and how you move forward. She's the author of Small Business Marketing Made Easy. That's easy. Host of the podcast I was on, by the way. It's exceptional. Marketing in 2 minutes or less. It's very granular. It's very real. It's got tremendous application for today and tomorrow. She's also the CEO of Small Business Marketing Specialist. Stacey Riska is her name. The R is for resilience. Here's your walk-off. You might have addressed it in a number of different segments here, but I'll give it to you in one paragraph. You give the world that one paragraph when your time is done. You're out. You're in your RV. What would you like other people to learn from, to grow from in that one paragraph of your life?
Life is hard. Business is hard. And I view it as a mountain. You're going to go up the mountain, you're going to go down the mountain. And there's going to be many mountains in your life. I would encourage your audience to know that they don't have to do it alone. Okay? That when you're in those valleys, to get the help and support you need, invest in yourself, right? Invest in a mastermind group, invest in people who are going to bring you up, not bring you down. I think there's a saying, you're most like the 5 people who you hang out with. So maybe put on your lenses for that and see who are the 5 people nearest and dearest to you. I would also encourage your audience to fail fast, right? Because I have never met a successful person who doesn't have some shit story that got them to where they are today. Seriously, I just started watching this show called Undercover Billionaire. Have you heard of it, Bill?
Mm-mm.
You've got to watch it. It is an unbelievable story of rags to riches. I'm not going to give the secret away, but I love this story because the guy gets a challenge, $100, a cell phone with no contacts, an old beat up pickup truck, and they drop him into a city that he's never been to before and doesn't know a soul, and he has 90 days to build a $1 million business.
Is it
and
new?
If he doesn't, he has to put in $1 million of his own. And
new?
I find it so interesting and inspiring because you talk about going through shit just in 90 days. Wow, he's been through a ton. But the business that he chooses is very interesting to me. So I'm not going to give it away,
but it's
you
a new
got to
show.
watch it.
It's a new show.
It's a new show. I think you can get it on Hulu or Netflix. Undercover Billionaire.
Thank you. I knew your paragraph would be great. I knew it. You've been listening to The Unstoppables. My name is Bill Wooditch. Check me out at Bill Wooditch, Wooditch. If you'd like, you can direct message and maybe I'll take your call, give you a little coaching on the side. Free, of course. Until next time, be well.
You've been listening to The Unstoppables. If you like today's episode, please consider subscribing. We have a new episode every Thursday. Please help spread the word of the show by leaving us a positive review on iTunes or Stitcher. Those 5-star reviews really help out the show. You can subscribe to The Unstoppables on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Thanks again for listening. Always forward.